Rockadoodle. Ugh. Yes.
Yeah. Welcome to our podcast. And this episode, we're doing Rockadoodle.
Rockadoodle.
Everybody introduce themselves.
Rockadangle and Bracho.
I'm Wilson.
I'm Tyler. So, Rockadoodle, what's
Yes.
your history with Rockadoodle?
By deep personal connection.
How the hell did I even discover? It must have just been like one of those pre-roll before VHS movies where they advertise other VHSs either recently released or coming out soon, and it must have stuck somehow, or I just like off the cuff rented it or something like that. But I don't know. I distinctly remember the first time watching it because this was my first Don Bluth movie I'd ever seen.
Oh,
Yeah.
Don
So,
Bluth. What,
yeah.
name other Don Bluth movies that you know.
Dong Bluth.
The
Secret of Nim.
Penguin,
Pebble and Penguin.
Secret of Nim.
Titan AE.
Titan AE he did. There was another one.
Oh, he's done like a lot of like big ones too.
But this a lot of like those.
Hold up.
A few of those were specifically animated and directed by him and his company. His
Did you do it
animation
at
team.
Atlantis?
No,
No,
that was Disney.
But yeah, I
What
watched this
separates a
movie.
Don Bluth movie from a Disney?
Don Bluth
Well-
used to be a Disney animator.
Yeah.
Then he fucked off and made his own
Did
movies.
he do El Dorado?
The Road to El Dorado. No, that was an
No, I
older
think
one.
that
That
was
was after he
DreamWorks.
was
That's
gone.
DreamWorks?
I think that was DreamWorks.
Because he left in like the 80s. He did Secret of Nim, An American Tale,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
yeah.
Land Before Time,
Mm-hmm.
All Dogs Go to Heaven,
Yes.
Anastasia,
Yeah. He did the
and he did the animation for the Laserdisc game Dragon's Lair.
Dragon's Lair and Space Ace.
Yeah, Space Ace.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Did he have something to do with Cool World?
Cool. I don't think.
Brad Pitt?
I mean, he might have had
And
something to do
Gabriel
with it just
Byrne?
because there was so much animation in that. But
Yeah, Gabriel Byrne has, or no? Yeah.
Oh,
I think
Troll in Central Park,
yeah,
Oh.
wow.
Pebble and Penguin, Thumbelina.
Did he do We're Back?
No.
Oh.
Some
Did something called Banjo the Woodpile Cat though. It's a short film, but
Now I gotta look that up. and
he did.
show us a picture.
He was the animation director on Pete's Dragon.
Okay.
yeah, that's quite a list of names from the past.
I know. American Tail kind of brings me back.
Troll in
Dude,
Central Park. Well, I've seen American
was-
Tail, those movies enough, but I think I watched Troll in Central Park twice. But I used to have
The
a VHS
fucking,
with the Little Giants on it, and that was one of the pre-rolls on that was Troll in Central Park. So I've seen
Fucking
that.
Charles Nelson Riley, dude.
Yeah,
As the
Uh,
troll.
Charles Nelson Riley. Yeah.
Yep. Dude's
He
the
was the
best.
troll in Central Park.
Yeah. He I forget Jesus. Forget he'd been doing it for that long. He was an assistant animator on Sleeping Beauty also.
Wow.
Back in '59.
You know what?
Well,
The Anastasia film.
Yes.
I really like that story.
Yeah.
And I fucking love Rasputin
Yeah.
in that fucking movie. He's so cool.
I saw it in theaters and never saw it again.
And they had like, it was around the time I think the Hunchback movie from Disney came out, and they
Yeah.
had fucking that voice actor guy that
It was like
that does
'94, I think.
those deep. He did that song like Hellfire in that film.
Oh yeah.
And he just blew my mind with it. But then Rasputin did that like kind of poppy. In the dark of the night, evil will find her. And I was like,
Yeah.
this is fucking power metal as shit for a kids movie.
Yeah.
So,
His
Rockadoodle is
yeah.
kind of weird in a way, because Glenn Campbell plays the titular character.
yes of
Well.
music fame.
Yes,
He's the cock.
he is
Cock of the
the
walk.
He's the fucking I gotta.
he is the Chanticleer. And I
Chanticleer.
think we're probably all
Based
gonna
off
say
of
that
a-
with a speech impediment.
Chanticleer.
The
That's
name is
a
Chanticleer. I think it's a
a
French
folk
um,
tale.
folk tale, yeah, about like a rooster that crows to bring the sun up, and this whole animated movie is
This whole
based
animu.
on that story. This whole animu.
This animal.
Um,
So yeah, it's based on an actual like folktale.
Yeah.
yes,
That's cool. I didn't
Yeah.
know that
Yep.
before.
Chanticleer it's Chanticleer the something rooster, or
Okay.
the title is something like Chanticleer the rooster who
It's probably very French, like
yeah.
Chanticleer.
Chanticleer.
But the cast of this movie is all over the place. It's not a ton of people that you recognize. I think the most recognizable one for people who grew up with this movie, being our age, was they have the voice actor who plays Mandark He's been in a ton of
He's
stuff.
in,
He's still in stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Oh, Charles Nelson Riley's in this too. Apparently.
Let's see.
as who?
I don't know. It
Is
just
he the
says.
dog?
I don't know.
I don't know. Christopher Plummer, which is in a bunch of movies.
Tattoo.
Tattoo.
Learn how to tie his shoes. Yeah, I watched this movie so much as
Yeah.
a child. Like, I remember it very
I
distinctly.
can't remember if I like saw it on TV or if it was just something I got randomly when I was younger, and then liked
Like,
it a lot.
went
But
to a
I
friend's house and they had it, and like that's the only way you would watch new movies was like your friends having them.
it's true. I
Yeah.
burned through that fucking VHS so much
Yeah.
when I was
I
a
did
kid.
that with
I had the fucking. I had
Ninja
the
Turtles film.
soundtrack. It was. I think that was like one of my first CDs. It was the
Okay.
Rockadoodle soundtrack.
Oh, CDs. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I didn't have the soundtrack, but I listened or I watched the movie so much it was basically because this is a animated musical, adventure.
Not dissimilar from Disney movies.
No, not at all. It
This
does
is
have
like it. Well,
a little bit of live action
The-
blended in.
the thing with Don Bluth movies too is they're always just fucking. They're dark.
Yeah.
Like inevitably, there's a part that would be like, "This is too spooky for me as a child." Like, ugh.
This one didn't really have that as much. They do.
Fucking Uncle Tookie gets a little fucking spooky.
Well, I mean, they do make him pretty.
I want that on a shirt, dude.
Uncle Tookie gets a little spooky. Uncle Tookie gets a little fucking spooky.
Put his nephew. What was his name? Oh, come on.
What's like?
Tip of my tongue here.
I want that picture. Like, if you envision Uncle Tookie, to me,
Was it Hunch?
Huh?
Was Hunch? But that's who Charles Nelson Riley played. If it was Hunch,
Okay.
because there's Christopher Plummer as the Grand Duke of Owls, and it goes Goldie, Snipes, Peepers, Hunch, Peaky, Stewie. And I was like, I know these names. I don't remember exactly. I remember Goldie
Yep.
and Pinky.
Yep.
Don't remember Snipes, Peepers.
Snipes is the bird that is played by.
Slowbirds.
Huh?
Slowbirds.
it's Rockadoodle.
It's fucking
It's the black bird in the red vest.
Oh, yeah,
who
that dude.
Is
Oh,
voiced by
he's the-
Mandark.
He's the crow.
Yeah.
No, he's probably a snipe. He's
Snipe.
probably a
Oh.
fucking
Yeah.
some like.
He's
I
not
don't
like
know.
that.
I don't know.
That.
Oh, yeah. Eddie Deason.
Eddie Deason.
He's also known as, which I think we watched too, was Grease. He was the
Yeah.
super nerdy kid in Grease.
In Greece.
Eugene.
Eugene and.
Greece with John Travolta.
Hey,
Yeah.
Eugene.
Hey, Eugene. And he was
I can't
doing a
picture
bunch
him
of
right now.
dances and
Yeah.
shit.
I can't picture him.
He danced away in that. He's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But
He was in fucking War Games, kid.
I still quote Rockadoodle like to this day.
Oh,
Sometimes
yeah.
I just like it pops into my head where I just like say it under my breath to myself. I'm like, no dogs, cats, birds, and beasts. It just pops in there. I don't know how.
I'll randomly just pop in with the fucking an adequate
Yeah.
pipe.
Adequate.
It's an adequate pipe. It's an aqueduct pipe.
And there's a moment in this movie where it just like kind of goes off the rails, and then goes right back on the rails. It's like a 3 to 5 second thing,
Yeah.
but it's almost like a PTSD moment or an LSD trip.
So it's a folktale wrapped in like a pop star kind of movie because
Yeah,
Rockadoodle's
it's-
supposed to emulate.
Kind of like Elvis, yeah.
Like visually.
Which is hilarious because Glenn Campbell, I think, wrote some songs that Elvis ended up making famous. So, yeah.
Like Fool's Rush In or something.
Ooh,
That's beautiful,
whoa, yeah.
Copyright strike.
It's got a lot of charm to it. Yeah, I don't think I think the reason that I wasn't maybe scared of the villains in this movie as a kid is because it's musical and because they do a good job of giving these villain characters something other to do than just being ominous and being villainous. There are moments where they're like silly, like the whole adequate
Yeah.
thing. Versus like let's say hypothetically that pollution smoke monster played by Tim Curry in Fern
Fern
Gully.
Gully.
Yeah.
Holy shit, that was spooky.
Yeah,
I watched that.
He's very spooky.
That was a spooky ass scene when he's like going through the pipes. He's like,
Singing it, yeah.
what was he singing?
He's like, I'm so dirty. I hope that is
God
the
damn
lyrics
it.
of that song in there.
He's like,
I'm so dirty.
oh, he's just like he's Nigel Thornberry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to look up that, but I'll look it up later. But yeah, should we jump in to
Yes.
Rockadoo?
Yes, fuck it, I got it.
Let's hear this little kid have difficulties with
Chanticleer.
his powers.
Chanticleer.
They kind of just introduced him and it's like, all right, you're a side character now.
Fucking Edmund.
Ooh, the kid. He's like, all right, kid, we're gonna have you start the movie. You're gonna turn into a cat. We're gonna do some lines.
But that's
and then we're just
that
focus
almost
on
like
all these other good
made me
actors.
mad when I was a kid because it was like the name of the movie is Rockadoodle. The biggest character on the cover is that fucking goddamn chicken.
Chanticleer.
And he is built up as like the character and the hero, the one who does the incredible thing in this story, and he's the side character.
Oh.
He's not there for most of the movie.
Funny
It's all
story.
about this little kid who can't pronounce the goddamn letter R, and I'm just like shouting as a little kid because I'm like, I want to see the rooster. I want to see him sing and bring up the sun.
Little fun fact.
But he's not there.
We'll save that for our gripes after we watch the film.
Little fun
The
fact, quick.
feelings will be different after the
Edmund. You know, is the name of the kid in it. That was the name of the person who wrote the play was Edmund.
Well, there we go.
That's why
Edmund
they found-
Rostand.
Interesting little tidbit that I never knew. Kind of
Mm.
reframes the whole story a little bit as the creator going through his own
So,
story and participating in the events of the story.
Here's a picture of a lady dressed as a giant rooster.
That's
That's frightening. You have
Not
to send
great.
that to me
Yep.
now, and I have to put that up there.
Yep.
that's not great. But
Deal
it's,
with it.
It's
All right, have that image burned into your head while we watch this film.
The boots are the boots are unnerving.
All right, well, we'll be right back after we watch the film, and we'll discuss it a little bit further and more in depth after a fresh viewing.
Yeah.
And now, our feature presentation.
The story or names, characters, or incidents portrayed in this production are fictitious.
No, probably like we really need to make sure of that because the whole Elvis thing.
Yeah, they do probably in Las Vegas or the city.
Well, he was wearing the fucking Elvis like Las Vegas
So
costume.
you got the cape and everything.
Oh shit! Gold crest.
It's pretty badass.
Gold crest.
Gold crest.
Gold crest. Back in the day. Holy fuck!
All right. Well, we're back. We just got done watching Rockadoo.
Rockadoo.
So, how long was the intervals between your last viewing of this film?
Oh God. Years.
Yeah.
Maybe
Because
not.
you guys still seem like you remembered all the lyrics of those songs.
I mean,
That's just we watched it so goddamn much and listened to
as a
it.
kid a lot, and then I think the last time I watched this was probably within 5 years, but it's on near the longer end of that.
Yep.
But it's still something that like you watch it enough as a kid, and the animation is memorable enough, and then it just sticks with you.
Yep.
And there's small little nuanced weird things that happen throughout the film that you're like,
The Don Bluthness.
yeah,
Yeah.
Where it just gets terpy for a minute.
yeah, it's
So,
super
oh.
psychedelic, and you're just like, where'd this come up? Like from? It's weird.
Yep. Oh yeah. That's I always forget too how little Chanticleer actually talks throughout the whole movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like he's barely in it.
He's
like,
not really.
Well, he's like
there.
he's in it, he sings, but you don't hear him talk very much.
Yeah, he doesn't
Well,
have
and
dialogue.
there's a thing about a lot of the music too is either there's like songs that are less than 20 seconds or less
Yeah.
than 30 seconds,
It's
or
like
they're
right before a
playing-
scene change.
or they're playing a longer song where like Glenn Campbell is actually singing,
Yep.
but they're doing VO over it, or they're just dialogue
Yep.
over it, so you don't really hear most of the song. You
Yep.
hear like just a few seconds of it.
Oh yeah.
So there's definitely a lot. This is a very musical movie, like with its content and with the music that's
theme.
in there. Yeah, but it's not like
Yeah.
there's not big breaks for long musical numbers. There's maybe a minute or so dedicated to actual like music.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's kind of a weird structure because the film starts out cartoon, and he's like, he starts singing his his sun do shine. That's like our introduction
Yeah.
to the character, and you're like, all right, we're gonna follow this guy, and then like this review or this synopsis says like an animated film about a barnyard rooster who goes to Las Vegas and finds success as an Elvis impersonator. Starting out, you're like, oh yeah, this is gonna be good. It's gonna be like about this cartoon rooster that goes to find bigger dreams.
So
Then it kind of devolves into like a kid's interpretation of this story time book.
if he gets fucking knocked silly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like it's kind of weird to go from cartoon, live action, then back to cartoon, then back to live action at the end with a mixture of the two at the very end. It should start with the live action stuff and you're like, wait, I thought this was a cartoon.
Right.
And then it like devolves or evolves into the animation after that.
What I think is funny is they never say it's Las Vegas.
Exactly.
And then also as an Elvis impersonating nightclub singer, that's not what he's doing. He's just basically Elvis.
I was saying it's the exact same thing because for him to be an Elvis impersonator, Elvis has to be somebody that already exists.
Or
in
that's
this
at least a
world.
reference.
Yeah, but he doesn't.
And they call him the king. And he does the Elvis thing. Starts out country boy, and then he gets famous and dyes his hair black and like Elvis did.
And he
wears the Elvis fucking Las Vegas Captain Marvel jumpsuit that he's got.
The reasoning behind him going to the city wasn't to find success.
No.
It was the barnyard people saying, "You didn't bring the sun up.
You're a phony.
You're a phony." And he's like, "Fine.
It's coming up
Without him.
It's coming up without him. You need to crow, and you need to crow now."
Yep.
Santa Claus, you gotta crow and you gotta do it now. Fucking so many like, especially at
It's my money and I need it now.
Yeah.
There's a lot
that
of
kind of
dialogue that they replay the exact same
Yep.
clip over
Yeah,
and
and
over.
if you're sick of a kid yelling Chanticleer with
Chanticleer.
can't
Or,
pronounce his R's.
Peepers.
Peepers.
God.
So what did you guys think about the conflict in the film? What did you think about the owl and his henchmen and like
They were
his
kinda-
plight?
It's just like it's.
They were kind of like, as much as they were the bad guys, it was like Pinky that they were actually
they were
dealing with.
more
But like Pinky was like working, I assume, under Duke of
Well,
Owls.
there was that phone conversation that like tells you like, hey, they're working like
Yeah.
together to some point.
But it's like the owls are just kind of bookend bad guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we should
well,
say
it's-
that there's two types of bad guys. There's the farm bad guys and then the big city.
With
bad
the
guys.
exception of the best character in the entire movie, fucking Hunch.
Well, and
Hunch
there's
is
a
great.
weird dynamic too, though, where like there's insinuation that the owls are the ones bringing the rain,
Yeah.
and because Chanticleer's not there to make the sun come up and like stop the rain from coming,
Yeah.
and there's a weird like framing device like the owls live in the night and they bring the rain, and Chanticleer is the one who makes the sun come up for the entire world.
Yes.
And but when you're watching the movie, it seems like it's like this really small little just bickering group of birds where it's like,
Yeah.
I was like, where are
And it
my
is.
lights?
I didn't even
And
think about it. It
it's
is
such a
dark
weird-
the entire
it's a
movie.
weird allegory of like, yes, they hated the light. The owls hated the
Yeah.
light, so they were always scared of the flashlight,
Yeah.
and they were waiting for like they have the darkness around them because Chanticleer's not there to bring the sun up. So it's like the yin and yang. Like
Yeah.
the owls represented the darkness,
Nighttime.
and then Chanticleer, he was the light.
Roosters in the morning. Yeah.
So like they were preying on the fears of all these farm animals, like threatening to eat them, and they're happy that Chanticleer's gone, and they're using Pinky as like this guy to kind of brainwash Chanticleer into being
Right.
like, hey, I'm gonna pamper you and make you all feel
Distract
good,
him and
distract
like,
him from
yeah.
not bringing the sun. So it's like it's a
Distract
weird-
him with that puss.
If this was like a Shakespearean play, it would be like these two gods, like conniving and like bickering and doing all this stuff behind each other's backs to like basically make the other person not fulfill their duty, like Chanticleer would be doing, is like summoning the sun every morning.
Well, and it's funny too because they just make it such a nonchalant thing where, like, in the beginning, he's just
you could read he
just sings and the sun comes up, and then one day that he forgets to like crow, the sun still comes up without him. So it's like, did he maybe just like double up one day and he had one credited, and then that's why it still rose, but because then after that. He doesn't crow and the sun doesn't come up, so why did it still rise that one time without him?
Yeah, it came up, but then the storm came.
Right.
And that, but that was weird.
Yeah.
Like, just whatever. That's not anything that is called out in the movie or. Like...
But it comes to a head at the very end when you find out that this is a battle of gods. Like the owl enlarges himself and becomes a fucking scary tornado.
Yeah.
And Chanticleer is drowning in this flood, and kind of like a biblical flood,
like having like PTSD flashbacks.
Yeah, and he's like, "Shit, I gotta do what I was born to do and summon the sun."
And
he just explodes, and his head is flying like a comet around the Earth, and that's why, like at the beginning of the film, we were like, "Why is there stars and shit?" It was because this. Chanticleer was basically a cosmic
entity.
He's a cosmic entity that can summon the sun.
He does. It comes up and he strikes down the owl with a sunburst that just like reaches down.
Well, and like he can summon solar flares coming out of the sun, like, just radiating over the Earth.
Yep.
I mean, you could read so much into this as like a super comic book kind of like epic battle.
It's a fucking Dragon Ball Z fight at the end.
Well, it's even bigger than that because Dragon Ball Z is like humans fighting humans, and then this is like gods because they can like. They're cosmic, all powerful.
But then they also frame it within these are barnyard animals. Which means that they are on a farm which is owned by humans, and so then they are in a sort of pecking order or like a system, and they're down here, but they're still doing all this godly stuff. So what is with the humans in this world? Like, what do they think?
They're just at the...
Oh, look, that owl's turned into a tornado, and that rooster just summoned the sun. Like, they're just casual observers or something?
Honey, you forgot to bring our kid to speech lessons. Oh, yeah.
So, I was just reading about the play or whatever that this is based off of.
Yeah.
So, characters that exist in both the movie and the play, Chanticleer, Goldie, and Patu. They are the three that exist in it.
No Duke of Owls? Or
No. The main bad guy for a lot of it's a blackbird.
Okay.
Probably the assassin that came to fight Chanticleer.
Just like he just in the
there
movie
is a
so
part
weird.
though where he does fight a fighting cock. Like that's what they call him at one point, but it's like a different part of the story. There's like in like Act 2 of the play, there's some conflict with birds or with like the nighttime people. Like at night, the nighttime birds of prey along with the cat and the blackbird plot to kill Chanticleer because his crowing interrupts their nefarious plans. And there's the whole thing of Goldie like being a bad influence on him, but actually falling in love with him. Yeah. And there's a part later in the play where the sun comes up without him. But it's not like that at all. So, I mean, there's bits and pieces here and there from the actual play in it.
Yeah.
But
that would be really weird, though, if one of the other characters that carried over was a small, like, young figure that had a speech impediment.
Fucking
And that was just, like,
Edmund.
a classical character for the story.
And we should say that, I don't know if we did mention it, but Edmund was the writer of the folktale.
Yep, Edmund
wrote the play.
I forget his last name, but
he's a French guy.
Yeah, he's a French guy.
A Frenchman.
Yeah, and then like in the play, it deals a lot with the conflict between like idealism and optimism versus cynicism and whatever. With obviously him, Chanticleer, representing the optimism and idealism, whatever, and then the blackbird and the birds of night, the cynicism.
With the rising of the sun too, and then darkness. And all.
Yeah.
It's very
black and white, night and day.
Yeah.
Yep. It's very a balanced yin yang kind of movie.
That is it's funny how they do that whole. You talked about the like assassin or whoever he fights that kind of comes and interrupts him and prevents him from crowing.
Yeah.
We never see that guy again.
But it's funny how they do it in the movie because he just kind of like, there's VO about Patu the dog like explaining what happened leading up to Chanticleer not being able to crow that day. And he's just doing VO, and it's like Chanticleer like laying on a roof, and all of a sudden this other bird just comes in there, and it's just like, you don't hear it because of the VO, but it looks like he basically just like, hey, fuck you, and then Chanticleer comes down and fights him, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, they just started by like,
hey, fuck you.
Hey, bitch.
Hey, you not nice person.
Hey, eat a dick.
Chanticleer's like, you fucking
What?
dead.
You what? You what? We got we had
You what?
You what?
you what?
You what? You fucking bruv.
You bloody tosa.
It'd be like discovering throughout watching the movie, like with the voices, saying the voice of Peepers was Sandy Duncan, who was famous mostly for the Broadway revival of Peter Pan. There's a lot of like filmed versions of that. And then fucking Phil Harris, fucking Baloo.
Yeah.
Baloo / Thomas O'Malley, the Alley Cat, and fucking Lil Jon, aka basically Baloo again.
Baloo again, yeah.
And Disney movies, and those are at least with Robin Hood. That was a movie that Don Bluth worked on also, so there's probably where that connection was made. And then, like we said, found out Charles Nelson Riley was indeed the nephew, which is perfect because that dude was all about making noises, and he can make a fucking noise.
I think one of the
Abomination.
Like, they had some Foley or like of him or like ADR or something that they used multiple times. It was a specific him going like, "Ow!"
Yeah.
And it was the same one like throughout the movie.
It was. I think they had him read the dictionary of like TION words.
Yeah.
Alliteration.
Animation, altercation, abomination.
Yeah, just like, and most of them started with A.
But his character was a pygmy owl.
Yes.
So he was smaller,
Really small.
super small compared to the other.
So it was
henchmen
easier.
owls.
It was easier for Uncle Dookie to pick on him
He wore a little bomber hat.
He
Was
wore
like,
until the end.
away!
Yeah.
He was actually really compelling as an evil guy.
Yeah.
Like, he was just doing his own thing. He had some kind of mental disability of some kind. Maybe
Yeah.
he was kind of PTSD, like in a war of some kind,
Or trying to make himself like feel important,
like I'd imagine him being
against
like,
his uncle who doesn't.
if he like idolizes war,
Yeah.
and like wants to be a part of it, but he's like too small
Yeah.
to participate. So he's like, he has this mindset of like what it actually is. So he thinks like it.
He's got a lot of energy and there's some compensation there because
Yeah.
all the other owls are bigger and they are kind of waging a war against the daytime and
Yeah.
he can't participate as much as he can
And he's not.
Even though he's the one doing everything in this movie.
Yeah, he does
like-
a lot of it, and he goes to the City of Lights basically,
Yeah.
where like Chanticleer is, and he's not really affected by any of the light.
He has the sunglasses there for a while.
It
He
just
does.
It makes me curious. Yeah, but that is strange because that basically is like, oh, so the owls are just invincible. They could wear sunglasses the entire movie and never be bothered by any light at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could have just not even had to summon the storm or anything like that.
Nope. Just wear shades all day, dude.
And
Kick back.
who are Hunch's parents? Like, there's obviously a familial
Yeah.
relationship with an uncle and a nephew.
Uncle
Uncle Dookie. I don't know. We never meet his
One
parents.
of those questions.
It is.
I'm pretty sure.
I like
that
the
maybe he
tables.
brainwashed him.
I like that. That's possible too. I like the tables turning at the end when fucking Uncle Dookie gets shrunk down,
Some comeuppance.
and then fucking Hunch is just like, yeah, now I can whip his ass. Like, beats my ass all the time. Now it's my turn.
Yep.
Pulls out the fly swatter and just starts. Whack, 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 whack.
So like what Chanticleer did essentially at the end, because we
Yeah.
saw the Duke breathe on people, and he breathed
Yeah,
out
breathes magic.
the cosmos. He
The
breathes on
cosmos.
people and turns them into aliens.
Every
and
single time that he breathes out, it's
Yeah,
like stars,
fucking pickle dick.
like Saturn's
Pickle
little,
dick, dude.
little
Fucking
stars.
Hunch.
Yeah, and like
mist.
hearts and just it's strange.
He
Yeah,
could,
it
he could blow
represents,
up
like-
magic and he can grow really big.
He can grow big, but then what he did to his nephew was turn him into like an alien bird.
Yeah,
Pickle dick.
fucking pickle dick. Yeah,
He looked
Pickle-
like,
Find a picture of pickle dick. Fucking Hunch. Put it right. Boom, right there.
and there
Pickle
he
dick.
is, and he looks fucking weird. He's just like, he looks like an alien. So
Yeah.
this cosmic owl
Yeah.
turns things into
Cosmic owls exist in a lot of mythology, so it works out.
Yeah, and they're supposed to represent wisdom and shit like that too.
Yeah. He
Owls.
wasn't very wise though.
No,
Well,
and the thing I had problems.
He's
with
very
his-
domestic though.
with his character. The voice actor is basically like whisper mumbling.
Yeah, it was what's his
I'm being arch. I'm like,
fuck? Oh, it was God. What's his fuck?
but he had such
We
a
were talking about
cadence
him
in his
earlier.
voice. He didn't like sound like, I am the bad guy.
Never let him crow.
It was kind of like Scar from fucking
Well, and it was
Lion-
just, it
a
was
less
very
menacing Scar.
Victorian. It
Yeah,
was
less
just like-
menacing Jeremy.
Phil,
Renner.
no, Christopher Plummer. There we go.
But he's like,
Plumber.
it's like he went into
He's been in a billion things.
Oh yeah, he's been in a lot of stuff.
Never let him crow.
Yeah, and
He was playing. He played Captain Von Trapp in The Sound of Music.
Yep.
Like the original movie
yep.
back in the day.
And then he was the Duke of Owls. So
Yep.
what a span in
What a
of
range.
career. Yeah.
He's got some range, but still, like I had just had issues. Maybe it was the problem with the
History and musicals.
I
Well,
had
he had such a weird way of delivering the lines. Maybe they just didn't have like the right direction for the character, but he
Maybe.
just sounded so like monotone. And
This
not
is-
that.
This is the hardest movie to. I'm glad we watched it with subtitles because this is the hardest movie to understand that is spoken in the English language because there are so many.
So that
ranges
token
of
like
speech
early
impediments
'90s,
and,
like
voice
muddled,
affectations.
yeah,
They
muddled
did.
voice recordings
They did.
piled on top of each other.
Think about Goldie, her like that.
Her high pitched baby voice,
Voice.
Yeah.
and then the mouse with like that lisp.
Beepers, beepers.
People had like the
Yeah.
holy Toledo or whatever she said.
Jumping Jehoshaphat.
The rhino. Give me the
That whole part where he's like tripping balls and he's like, "Give me the
Boys.
All the things are fading in and out.
Like ghostly apparitions of people. Give me the balls.
You just hear "Give me the boss." We made the joke like you hear Patu just say like, "Here's me
Down my shoes, my
Yeah, there's an
shoes,
entire
my
like
shoes.
C plot going on throughout the movie that this dog, who wears pants, socks, and shoes.
But his pants are
Pants.
backward.
Yep. How
Well-
do dogs wear pants? They apparently at least buckle their belts on the top,
Yeah.
on their back.
Well, yeah, meaning
Apparently.
like backwards. It would not be facing his.
Where it makes sense
front
because
towards
they
the
can
ground.
unzip their zipper and put their tail through it.
Yeah,
But
that
backwards.
works.
The entire movie is attempting to tie his shoes, or at least learn how to tie his shoes,
Yep.
and he doesn't really ever successfully do it
He
until the very
yeah,
end.
the closing montage.
Yeah, he like.
When we get
That's-
the fucking gaga fucking reprise.
Yeah, we come out of animated, like, this entire story, fantastical story has been told, and then Edmund, the little kid, wakes up and is like, oh, Edmund, honey, that was just a story, blah, 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 like, the rain's over, farm's safe, and then he's like, okay, cool, thank you, Chanticleer, and goes back into animation, and it's just
Except
like, singing
he's
a
not
song to
animated.
everybody. Yeah,
He's
but
not
he's
animated.
He's a
still
real person.
Real life, rotoscoped
became-
on top of the animated.
He became
Fucking-
golden boy. He became like a golden child.
Just
He
a little
chose-
toe-headed fuck,
He
dude.
chose to shed his mortal coil
Yep.
and
Fuck
live
him.
in this
Yeah, he's
animated
just dead.
heaven where he is now
He's dead,
spirit
yeah.
alone.
He's just a spirit in
Spirited
this,
away, dude.
in this
Cockadoo.
barn.
He's just like,
cockadoo.
Mom, I have to go, and he jumps
I
out a
must go
window. Just fucking- he doesn't actually fly out the window.
Skidoo's into the book. Just
Yeah.
like, woo!
He just fucking jumps out a window and he's dead.
He just died. He impaled himself on that tree that fell through his
As
window.
his spirit rises. Shine, shine. His mother starts to hear the phantom tones.
What?
She's like, what is going on?
Give me the boss. Give me the boss.
Big old one-old breakdown.
Here's me, Tampa. You big old
Wow, 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 wow.
The sun do shine.
Oh,
That'd be
God.
the most frightening thing for a mother to see is like these ghostly cartoon figures,
No,
like
she doesn't even-
like seeing the like suck his son's
Suck it.
soul.
No, so
That'd be the best.
Edmund jumps out the window, hits the muddy ground right out of sight of
Yeah.
just outside of his front porch. The mom runs downstairs and is like standing there like just bewildered what's happened. And then as Edmund's spirit leaves his body and joins this animated land, she doesn't see, only hears the faint echoes of what he's experieing. And she's just
tie
hearing
my
this cheery
shoes.
music and like all this stuff and thinking like, What the fuck is going
Tie
on?
my shoes, tie my shoes, tie my shoes.
There's these little waves of the animated world are now wafting through, and she's just hearing what it is like. Oh my god!
Wowie, wow, 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 wow.
And then we have that really sexist.
Yeah, super sexist fucking. Dude, again, we have the real hero being whoever animates fucking cheesy food in the 90s.
Yes.
Because fucking that lasagna.
That lasagna, there's a scene where a character eats lasagna.
Give me the
and the
most.
way
He's
that
like
it's
hugging it like a
animated,
pillow.
It
And...
just looks so goddamn tasty. And like, there's examples of that all over the place. Like, we
Well,
were talking
and he
about
used
this,
the record just to go into the cheese
Oh
thing.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
He sprays gold on a record, and he's like, "Look
Gold
at that!"
spray paint, but it drips
It
off
looks
and
like
it
cheese.
looks like
Looks like
cheese. So there's like examples of animated food in movies looking really tasty. Is like
the best
this
one's Goofy movie.
Goofy movie. There's a pizza with cheese that just is
Dripping, dude.
the archetypal golden.
Don't do that.
And then there is Sword in the Stone. Somebody's eating like a turkey leg
A
at
mutton?
one point.
Yeah.
And the way that it,
Don
like,
Bluth worked on that
pulls
also.
off the bone and just is like, yeah. The animation in that one is definitely very Don Bluth with the character design.
They did a lot of like rotoscoping of like they would get the actors that would portray the movements of the animation.
Yep.
That's totally like in Sword of the Stone.
It's classic Disney.
Yeah.
They did that all the way back to Snow White.
Oh yeah.
Yep. How people like moved and like
Yep.
The
express
prince
themselves
is
with their
just,
body.
like, very
Yeah.
rotoscoped.
Yeah. Brotoscope.
Well, you
Man.
can tell like they totally looked at Elvis as like a reference model for
Oh, yeah.
Doodle and Chanticleer. He would like do his hip moves and
Yep.
all that stuff. Like that's fucking Elvis.
That's
right
fucking
there.
Elvis. Well, yeah, and the story too is country boy, go to the big city, just get totally fucked, and then, well, then he died, but in this he went back to the farm, which I guess.
And started summoning the sun again.
Yep.
Mhm.
It's
It's the prodigal son.
Yep.
Total like no
The
pun
prodigal
intended.
son.
So let's all give our totally arbitrary and nonsensical rating.
Well, if I was a kid, I'm gonna give my rating as a child, like because I did see this when I was
Yeah.
pretty young. I would say that it was forgettable, and I didn't watch it subsequently after that.
Yeah.
But as an adult, I found that you could probably really dive into like the lore and the meaning behind all
Yeah.
this stuff pretty in
Yeah.
depth, because that's what I like to do, is kind of really digress down a path where it's totally off base with everything the story was, but like you can inflict those things and kind of conceptualize those ideas
Yeah.
and kind of gather a bunch of different stuff from
Pretty little
just
things.
watching it.
The Don Bluth effect.
Yeah.
It's a lot of his movies.
So I'd say as an adult, I enjoyed it more because of that fact.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give this movie a mispronounced R out of 26. It's there's a bit of like nostalgia attached to this movie, and I can see a lot of things about this movie that if I maybe hadn't watched it as a kid, I would not like about it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot that I do like, and it's
There's a lot of
entertaining every single
stuff.
time.
Yeah, you can pull
Like,
a lot of stuff and remember. Like you guys sang all the lyrics of the songs, and you know like the small little things, the little intricate.
No dogs, cats, blades, and beasts.
Jesus.
Like,
God damn it.
uh,
Yes, it's true.
So a lot of stuff sticks with you.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Hard. Sticks
Very formative
hard.
movie for like just general like animation.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there's those certain movies is when you're a child that you just watch over and over. And this is one of them.
I'll give this a good 6.5 pickle dick birds out of adequate pipes. But that's just like you were saying. It's like obviously now watching it, it's just like holy fuck. There's a lot of problems with this movie, but I mean,
It's still like a fun time.
well, yeah, exactly. It's a good time. When I was a kid, it was like one of my favorite Don Bluth movies. It's not. It's up there nostalgia wise, but as far as like movies in his canon, it's not as far up there because there's better ones.
Yeah, I would say like American Tail. If he worked on
Yeah,
Fievel
American
Goes
Tail.
West,
Yep.
like if he did
He didn't do this. Well, it was
because that was one that stuck
probably
with me the
produced
most.
by him, but
Yeah.
I don't think he himself actually made it.
Like what I saw in Fievel Goes West.
It's like
was-
Land Before Time. He did the first one, but he didn't do the rest.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
And
yeah, there's
All
like-
Dogs Go to Heaven, whatever.
There's like 17 of those.
Yeah,
like, if we're
they're
talking
still
all the way
fucking
back.
going.
But like I'm saying, the dog in Don Bluth movies, they
Yeah.
all look the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do.
Platoon and fucking the dog in Five Goes West, the sheriff dog.
Yeah.
Like, they
And
look
there's
similar.
one in All Dogs Go to Heaven too.
Yeah. They have that.
And
the,
All
the
Dogs Go to
Basset
Heaven, too.
Hound, I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. It's still a lot of fun, and I still love watching it.
Wiley Burp,
Wiley Burp. Yeah, that's his
the
name.
sheriff, and
Wyatt Earp.
Five Goes West.
Wiley Burp. God damn it.
Did he do Rover Dangerfield too?
No,
No.
I don't think so. I can check that out real quick.
Because this was brought to us by Metro Goldwyn Mayer.
Yep.
Um,
We were let down very loudly.
the lion just.
Disproportionate volume levels on that.
Yeah. It's like you're watching a show and then a commercial comes on and you just get ear raped. Just,
So, oh God.
Get off of me.
Let's see here.
So would you recommend people watch this with their children now?
It's there is nothing wrong with this movie for children. It is 100% like child appropriate. There's nothing in this that is not tame. Like everything is so
Milk toast.
good-hearted and like it's
Yeah. There are things that could have been not. Like I was saying, there's a point in the film where like he is hanging with Goldie, and she's sitting there, and the dude delivers up a fucking platter with a bottle and a bunch of cups poured out, and she's just laying there dumping cups down his throat. And originally that was wine, but they're like, that's not a good idea. So then they just changed it to like the soda water looking shit.
Look like seltzer
the
water.
villains aren't like
Got
too
an
scary.
antacid.
There's nothing really like and no inappropriate jokes or anything like that. It's all very kid friendly, and
Right.
I think the innocence of the main character, like Edmund being so goddamn excited about this whole thing, is helpful. The way that it ends on like that most saccharine note is just like, okay, you can feel good about this. Go have the rest of your day.
Yeah. Fucking sun do shine, dude.
Yeah.
Sun do
Sun do
shine,
shine.
dude. And you'll be
You
fine.
big old wet old right
Winkler.
Wrangler.
But you were asking, I just looked it up finally.
Rover?
No, about Cool World. Well, that too,
Oh,
I
Cool
looked
World.
up. He didn't work on Rover Dangerfield, but it was based, they did kind of want to go in a similar vein of the person that did Cool World, which was Ralph Bakshi.
Mm-hmm. Ralph Bakshi. He did
Yeah.
like all the Lord of the Rings ones.
Yep, and what was it, Fire and Ice?
Yeah,
That
the
movie.
metal movie.
Oh yeah. Forgot
He
about
did
that.
that. He did a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff.
So yeah, for an animation film. I
And he
guess
did a
like-
lot of the motiony, rotoscopy
this?
stuff.
For
too.
like in the 90s as far as animation goes.
Oh, this-
Do you think it kind of added more to the animation?
Yeah.
I think so too.
This
I mean-
is very.
Their light effects were cool.
I mean, that's the thing about Don Bluth. His productions that he does, like the first of these movies and all these are like, the animation's gorgeous. It's fluid. It's expressive. It is not as
It's what
like,
you come to expect from a good
rigid
Don Bluth
as,
film.
Like,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's got. There's just a lot of like. That's why I think it sticks out for me. Is there's so much that you can just pick out in this movie, like small details, either visually or with the audio, or just things. That's kind of what I look for a lot of times. It's just little things that I latch onto for one reason or another. They
Right.
usually have no significance to anybody else, but
Right.
so
Mm-hmm.
Rockadoodle.
Ragadoo.
So yeah, how should we sign off? How should we sign off this?
Hope
you guys enjoyed. You guys should watch.
Yeah.
Yes,
Have a good time.
and also stay
Love your
through the
life.
credits.
Stay through the
'Cause
credits.
There's golden
there's a
ass names in
song
there.
that is not featured anywhere
Oh, yeah.
else in the movie,
Nope.
and it brings some good resolution. Like it brings closure to the movie. We finally know
Tie your
a
shoes.
good emotional spot to end on. It like
Mhm.
it's.
Just tie your shoes.
No, you ruined it.
I don't give a
I
fuck.
was leaving a little bit of mystery.
What?
Now they have to watch it.
I don't care.
But the lyrics in it are pretty great.
If they're not for that song, just stay for the fucking awesome names in there, because it's a lot of Irish people with weird ass names.
Wasn't there? What was his name? Dickleby or
Oh,
something?
Dick Dimbleby?
Dick and Phil Dimbleby.
Dimbleby. Dick Dimbleby.
Dick and Phil, they're bros. Dimbleby. Some of the greatest credit names.
A lot of repeated like surnames. So
O'Toole.
family project. This movie
Yep.
Patty O'Toole.
and a family product.
Yep.
Patty
So-
Dempsey.
There's that.
Oh yeah, dude. It's well executed. I mean, like, it's not like. So that was the thing that I realized too watching it was like Don Bluth was just kind of a producer on it, where
Yeah, he
his
directed this too.
no, his son did. The co-directors.
Directed by Don Bluth.
No,
That's right
that was a lie. They had it in the credits.
there. Well, also,
There's
this synopsis
two
for
other
this
people.
movie is far off from
They're
the
off
actual
base, yeah.
content, so I don't know if Amazon needs to change their standards for movie description.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah,
it does say directed by Don Bluth. Maybe it was voice direction that I saw, because I saw co-directors
Oh.
and two different names that were not
There
Don
were
Bluth.
definitely a lot of other names. Like, this is very simple. Like, when we watched those credits, there was, like, I think 6 or 8 producers and co-producers and stuff that I saw listed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And there was motion capture directors too, for like the actors doing the motions of the animation.
Mhm.
There was those kind of people. But yeah,
This is a little nugget of old animated history that not too many people recognize it. When I ever mention
Right.
it, they're just like, "Oh, never heard of it," you know?
Right.
And I don't know if that's because it's Don Bluth or if it's maybe the name that it just is not something that people.
Right. But I mean, when it's made by a company that's made up of all old Disney animators, like, you know, it's gonna at least be fun to look at.
Mhm.
oh yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
So
Like,
it's
the
like-
animation holds up. I mean,
Yeah.
like, it's not too
Don't
like
don't let the
crude.
fact that you haven't heard of it maybe
No, don't let that stop you.
don't let
because
it stop you.
Sometimes that's even better. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're really into animation and how things were done with rotoscoping and stuff, like with Mary Poppins is a good example of like
Mary
how
Poppins.
they added live action to cartoon animation and things like that.
Yep.
This does similar things, so it's a good time all around if you're interested in animation or interesting storytelling
just
and sing along songs.
Yeah.
be prepared to sit through about 75 minutes of a small child not being able to pronounce a few different letters in the
Yeah.
alphabet.
Yeah.
But just be happy that he looks like a little kitty cat and not the fucking puffy haired, toe headed fuck that he is
Yeah.
in real life.
Yeah,
Danny Beavis.
Yeah. Kind of Beavis-ish, yeah.
Yeah,
they turn him
but
into a cat pretty quick, so
Yeah, so you don't have to look at him.
we escaped the horror of that exuberant young child.
Yep.
Mhm. But I
Thank
hope you guys enjoyed.
Christ.
It's time for us to leave now.
We're going
We're gonna turn into cock rockets and blast off of
Yeah,
It's
space.
time for us to leave Movie Land and
Fucking
summon the sun.
cockadoo our way.
Cockadoo!
Cockadoo.
But someday we shall return to Movie Land.
We will.
And when we're there, you'll be the first to know.
We'll get rid of that big old wet old rain cloud.
All right, guys.